Hello, and welcome to a first look of Rogue Tower, a game by A.R. Mason, as you can see there. Yeah, so I got recommended this one in my Discord, and I took a look at it, and I went, hey, that looks cool. So here I am. This game came out 3 days ago, 4 days ago. This came out on the 28th on Steam. This is a rogue-like tower defense game, and I heard that concept and I went, that sounds cool. So here we are. I'm going to tell you now, I have some problems with this game, which I'm going to show you. I think that it's pretty fun, but you have to know there's information you need to know before you start playing this. First thing I want to tell you is about the developer, a game by A.R. Mason. The developer, actual studio is called, what was it? It was Die of Death. Yeah, it's down here, Die of Death in the bottom left here. It made one other game I looked at before this, which I did not look too closely at. It had it did not look like something that many people had played, but maybe check it out if you like the idea of this game. Let me go over what you're looking at here. So, first thing I found, I did my usual and I played about 10 to 15 minutes of this to get a feel for it. First place I went, options menu. You're gonna notice something real fast here. The UI in this game, I'm playing 1920 by 1080. It's hard to see, and there is no option as far as I can tell to change that, which is really strange. This is not a game in early access. This is the full release, but there's no, this is it for your options. No language options. You can show damage numbers, which, hey, we may as well. Show condition messages, projectile dot effects. I don't know what that's going to do. And then you can change the audio. So, right out of the gate, that's a little upsetting to me. It's not a deal breaker, but I hope that somewhere down the line, this game gets better options. I would like to be able to see things, because everything feels really small. You'll see what I mean when we get into it. As for overall, before we go into the play, I'm going to go over the rest of this stuff real quick, because I wanted to show you this upgrade system. So when you do a run, you get experience, and you can use that to... That's right. There's this massive upgrade tree, which I'm not 100% certain, but it looks like you get to unlock the new towers with this. We start with the ballista. And I think all of these upgrades I already have. And then if I want to, it looks like I already have the mortar, but I didn't have it in the run that I played. So we're going to be learning about how you get the new towers as we go here. But yeah, it's just there's a ton here. There's a whole lot to unlock, which is kind of cool, interesting. I always like to see stuff like that. Call in a biplane to perform airstrikes. Here, let's unlock something. I got 144 XP. Let's grab the shredder. Launch saw blades to rip and tear until it's done. Bleed enemies as they travel down the path. Done. And then all of this stuff, as far as I can understand it, is upgrades that you'll get passively throughout a run of the game, and these are not permanent upgrades that happen forever. Let's grab armor, shield, and bleed damage up, sure. Alright. One other thing that I find a little jarring is you cannot click and drag on any of these menus or on the regular game. You have to move the camera with WASD. Oh, here you go. Yellow upgrades can be randomly drawn during each game. Blue upgrades are permanent. Okay, there you go. These upgrade as cards? I don't know about cards. But I can reset my XP. So you can reset your experience, but you have to restart the game. I'm not going to do that, but that's cool. There's also a monster manual that shows you how it is. It is very strange. The menu navigation with WASD, very jarring to me. But nonetheless, you got a little explanation of the enemies. These are ones that I fought in my run. And then this one is... Oh, I didn't actually read this. Oh, this is like a little game guide, huh? So it's green bar, armor, green bar health, yellow bar armor, blue bar shield, slows, dots, fortifications, and then haste. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Let's play. So I played single defense. I from what I understand, basically you're only going to have one path into your main tower, and then double and triple defense add another path. We're going to play single defense for the purposes of this. I will also tell you, before starting this, I increased the gain on my microphone because the musical direction in this game is extremely cool. So I wanted to make sure that you could hear it. So I increased my volume and increased the volume of the game overall. Hopefully you're able to hear it. I did a few sound tests to make sure, but here you are. First things first, at the top you have your health, which is your tower's health. You can have 10 enemies reach, the level you're on, your gold, your score, and then your mana, which I did not use or get any of in my first run. I imagine this you unlock later on. And then you can hide your UI, pause the game to bring up the same options menu, center the camera, go back on the tower, and then hold shift to smooth the movement, which I really like. I can't. So I'm gonna describe what I'm doing to you here. I'm gonna hold W, and then I let it go, and you can just kind of like make the camera float, which is really weird to me, but nonetheless. Overall, I have two big complaints about the way that the game works overall, and then I'll talk about what I like. I like to get the complaints out of the way because I think that if you're looking at this game and you're wondering if you want to buy it or not, I want to tell you what there is that's not great. Actually, there's three things that I think are subpar. One, I don't like that you can't click and drag to move around the map. It's weird, but it's not that big of a deal, I guess. I'm gonna build a tower here while we're there. Two, I think that the UI should be scalable. I would really like to make this all a lot bigger because, like, I don't know, it's very tiny up there. And three, there's no saving a run. No saving a run, it's very much a shame. But what can you do, I guess? So I'm gonna hit expand and we're gonna get playing. The way that it works as well, you place towers, if they can go anywhere that's open, and they'll shoot automatically. It's a tower defense. You can click on them. This is where it's like, it's to the point here as well where I wonder if I have done something wrong. If I have, please do let me know. I will redo this video. But like, I can't read this. I got really close to my screen to read this on my first playthrough. It's increased health damage, increased armor damage, increased shield damage. But like, this is one of my biggest problems with the game is how small these buttons are. And just how small the UI as a whole is. There's one other thing that I should mention as a deal breaker, which you'll see. There's no way to increase the enemy's movement speed through. Other stuff you can do here, you can change the priority of your towers, which is cool as well. And yeah, like I think that the control and UI quirks you'll kind of get used to. I'd like it if the UI was able to scale up, but once you get it, it's not that big of a deal, right? I've played games with bigger problems. As for the gameplay itself, the way that it works is you start each wave by expanding. So like we start the wave and we create a new random stretch of land, and that land can have elevation issues. So, or elevation differences. So like these higher spaces here give higher range to your towers you build on them. And then there's also random pickups like this house. If I put a ballista next to it, the house will pay every time I expand, or every level basically. So I kind of want to just put 3 ballistas. Here I can hold shift to put down a bunch of these. That's cool. And then expand, and now they're going to pay for themselves basically. Now, another thing that I really love about this game and why I turned myself up and I turned the game up is because the music increases. Like it's kind of just at a lull here, and then when you expand and more enemies are on the screen, it goes hard. I don't know if you heard it there, but it kind of goes nuts. Now, I don't necessarily feel like what I'm doing is a great representation of the game here. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna increase health damage on each of these. As you can expect, as you increase the levels of your towers, everything else becomes more expensive as well. Like, listen to the way the music just kind of goes nuts here, right? Listen to this. The music is very good in this game as well. And then at the end of level 3, and I think it might just be at a fixed interval, you draw a random upgrade from those yellow upgrades we saw on the main. I am going to take +1 range because I don't know, like the numbers in this game I don't really know yet. And so is +1 health damage that much? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I'm trying to move with my mouse, my B. I'll put one up here. It feels like, so the towers get more expensive as you place more of them, and it's to encourage you to build more diverse setups. However, I haven't figured out how to... oh, your towers get experience as they shoot. You see this? That's why the cost is going down. You see it? As they shoot, they get experience based on what they're doing. That's kind of neat. Anyway, I haven't figured out how to unlock more towers. And as you get further away, there get to be more paths to defend and things like that. I think I'm going to probably try and look around and see if I can figure out how to unlock more towers once I finish this. But yeah, if I can figure it out, I will. Like, I might pause the recording and go take a look, and then I'll come back. Because it feels like a pretty important piece of the game, as you can probably imagine. And you see those guys, we have all this bonus health damage, but they're living for longer because of their armor. Now, enemies will spawn at the end of each of these paths, so I can expand to give myself more time in one direction, but at the end of the day, I'm going to have to deal with them on all angles. I'm gonna upgrade my armor damage on this one 3 times. You see how long range this is? What else we got here? We got an iron vein, place a mine. Like, I haven't found... I feel like I'm missing something, right? And that's what I'm trying to figure out, and maybe it'll come at the end of a first run or something, right? Maybe it comes at the end of a first run. But... and maybe it didn't pop up for me because I just quit the menu on my first run to see if I could. But one thing that I can see is I feel like as the levels get pretty late, because of how you expand outwards, you're probably... Oh, here's how you get them. You unlock them. That makes a lot of sense. Let's try siphon mana from crystals. So we unlock a new building. There you go. That's very cool. I didn't see this at all. I played to like level 10 of my first one. So I did not see this a single time. Currently gathering 1 mana per second. I don't know what I'm gonna do with mana. I assume it'll make sense when I get there, but that's pretty cool. So now my biggest fear for this game currently is that it's gonna take too long. I'm gonna upgrade my armor damage like across the board here. My biggest fear for the game is that it's gonna take a lot longer than the waves are gonna start to drag, basically, is my fear, because it takes so long for the enemies to reach you. I'm gonna spend my money. I feel like a classic mistake I tend to make when I start a new game like this is just not spending my money. Just spend it all. It's not doing me any good in the bank. There's no economy. Now, let me look through the tower options here, so I can target progress, near death, health, armor. Okay, so probably the best way to go about this, I'm assuming that this is like a tiered list, so you pick like in order a top 3 what you want to target. So when I have big clusters like this, I should probably specialize my towers. That's what I'm thinking. So let's try it. Let's try following this idea. And let's make this guy my armor shredding tower, and he targets the armor-based enemies. And then I'll make this tower my health shredding tower. And you probably want to plan and build around that, if I were to guess. Now, an interesting thing that I just noticed is that the mana gathering is time-based, right? Every one mana per second. So you kind of want to plan. Like, maybe I want to make it so that there's as much time as possible between when the enemies spawn and when they start to walk into my tower, right? Like, I'm expanding in sort of a uniform way here. Maybe it would be more efficient for me to just go in one direction so I had more time for mana to build up, right? That's just a thought. Just an initial thought. Looks like a few boys are gonna make it through here. Not a huge deal, I'm not super concerned. I want this video to also contain the lose state, because I feel like often I don't have the chance. Like, a lot of times, that's not to say I win runs too much, that's to say the runs are, it's too long. It would take too long for what I want to get to. So I'm okay to play this a little inefficiently and, uh, you know, go about it like that. I'm learning. I think that it makes sense for me to try and expand in one direction. Because what's happening right now, because I'm expanding uniformly, is they're not staggered, right? They all converge at about the same time. I think that a lot of this is going to be figuring out how to stagger enemy spawns, basically. I guess you have to look here, right? Health multiplier 12, armor multiplier 7, shield multiplier 5. And this one's armor multiplier 10, health multiplier 11, 12, 7. Yeah, okay, so you look at the multipliers. I see what I'm looking at. Give me a health upgrade so I'm about to die. I'd like to live like one more round, so I have a hypothesis I want to test. I think you get an upgrade every 3 levels completed. That's my guess. Yeah, got it. I was correct. Nice. So every 3 levels you get a card draw. I see. And that can be new towers or upgrades generally. I want to use this mana that I'm siphoning, so let's take mana bolts, give my towers +3 base damage. I definitely don't feel like I have the money to beat these back right now. So I'm gonna try most shield. I want to try using this tower as like a shield stripper. Right, and I feel like that's generally how you want to go about it. I think that clustering my towers like I did here is not super good, like this tower here. I can actually get a lot of my money back. And then tower does big armor damage, and I want to set it to most armor. I guess you could just check the priority to see what you're doing with your towers. Let me get this one on most health. And let me get this one's health damage upgraded. 12, 7, 5. You're targeting progress. Mana use 2 per shot. Okay. I'm just gonna go through and kind of upgrade them all. One of the things that I'm noticing though with this one so far, with this game, is I feel like the towers you place early are kind of wasted. Do I want to expand here? Yeah, it's kind of good actually, because it gets closer to this one. I haven't noticed a whole lot of enemies with shields. I think it's a little difficult to see. This game's biggest flaw in my mind is definitely visual clarity. Get some big armor boys coming. I often feel like I'm looking at this game and going, I don't know what I'm looking at here. And I feel like it would be nice. Can I pause? Oh, I can pause. Okay, that's good. You can't move around the map, but you can pause and... Can I make an upgrade? Let's see. Okay, so you can pause and upgrade, but you can't move around the map. And that's the sort of thing, right? Where I think this game has a lot of potential, but it definitely feels like it needs a little bit of polish. The idea is cool, though. The idea is definitely there. And here's the loss at the end of the run. You get to see your stats. Here's all of the towers we could pick up, and you can see how much health damage, how much armor damage, how much shield damage, total damage, total cost, and damage per gold. Pretty cool stuff. I've been struggling to get out of the first level even. Well, you know, get much past wave 9. Although it feels like it feels a little weird, but it also feels like I probably want to spend time, now that I know, I would like to go in here and do like card drawing free, so I want to get some permanent buffs before anything else. I'm just reading through this stuff. Banditry. So the yellow ones aren't permanent buffs. I get it. I understand. So I would personally imagine that you're best off just rushing these blue upgrades as much as you can. Yeah. I think I don't want to do this video for like an hour or 2 hours. I don't really want to do another run. I don't think I have. Actually, no. I do. I want to look at the double mode. So let me grab an upgrade. I'm going to grab the card draw upgrade. Draw an additional card when you draw upgrade cards. This seems pretty important. And increase tower's hit points by 1. Oh, increase tower, like the base. I was like, does this make the enemies hit me? No, this is like your base hit points. I got you. Let's take gold drop. Enemies drop 1 more gold on death, and we'll start the game with more money. And let's go play. I want to try double defense here, just to see if it's what I think it is, which is start with 2 paths into your base instead of 1. Enemies drop an extra gold piece for each type of tower which hit them. That's interesting. Yeah, so double defense. There's two paths. I think I'm going to spend on 4 here. I feel. Oh, you see this? The text increases in size when you zoom in. That's a little wacky. How far out can I zoom? Uh-huh. I feel like that's a little wacky, but you know what? Hey, it's fine. I'm gonna give them all health damage here, and the idea is that as I expand outwards, I'll put towers down, which are going to act as like armor shredding towers, and then these core towers will break health. That's what I'm feeling here. That's my strategy this time around. Like, I'll put towers out here, and I'll give them armor damage increase, and then I will have them target armor. And then what I also want to try out is like setting the 2 inner towers to target wounded enemies. A lot of this game is probably going to be maximizing, like min-maxing with prioritization, right? I have to imagine. Ooh, Shredder, I just unlocked this. Launch saw blades to rip and tear. I want to try it, so I'm gonna take it. 500 gold. Let's see what this bad boy does. So same upgrade types. You also get all of your money back for demolishing it, but I don't believe... So you're losing money, but you're not losing money in the same way, right? Like if I demolish this, I get all the money I spent on it back, but shredders cost 100 gold now in the future if I wanted to play more of them. Interestingly enough. I want to see what this thing does. Oh my god, do you hear that sound effect? First of all, this tower seems insane. This seems extremely strong. Second of all, what a nightmare. I'm gonna go ahead and put all my money into upgrading this bad boy, and I'm gonna expand, because it looks like it just launches the saw blade into the lane, and then it goes all the way down the lane. You see that? Watch this. Look at that. That's kind of nuts. So it feels like, for now anyway, like, this is what I was talking about at the end of that last run, too. I kind of want to stagger my cane point, but also it can lead to this position where the path, because there's more enemies spawning. I see, you see? More enemies are spawning now, so it's less time for me to clear the right side. So I should increase the range on, or increase the path on this side. That's cool. It's interesting how it works. I'm not all in Shredders. Shredders get +1 damage to armor. Give me that shit. I want to get another Shredder, but I don't know if it's really all that valuable. This bonus range, though, is letting it basically double dip on defense, which is cool. That sound effect is rough. You can individually control sound effects, though, so like I could turn it down a little bit. I don't know, I hope the audio balancing isn't too bad. I hope you can hear me pretty well. I try to rely on OBS to tell me if you can hear me or not, but OBS often lies to me about how the audio is. I was hoping I was going to be able to sneak a hit in over here, but no. He might actually, he's going to waste his shot, right? My Shredder? No. I was worried it was going to shoot over here first. On the upper path. Oh, can I set it to target the nearest? Because it just shot to the other lane because in the other lane they were closer to the tower because it's based on progress. Can I shoot at the nearest? Slowest? No, I can't. Okay, that's a shame. That's a real shame because that's So the increased range can also be a downside. Because it's going to waste some shots, potentially, and then the enemies are going to walk out of its range. The Iron Vein we saw, I didn't unlock the mine. But I did see this earlier as well. I'm trying to save up for another shredder, so I think I will. I'll just do nothing. I can see my... the armor looks like it stops the bleed, right? No, it doesn't. Now if I pause, can I zoom in? Hold on. Okay, so I can actually see... Can I right-click on this guy? Can I get more information? No. There's an actual number for the bleed, right? He has 108 bleed, now he has 60, now can you see it? It feels like it's an extremely difficult question of how do you make this game scale in a way that makes any fucking sense, and the answer is... I don't know, man. Truly, I don't know. Give me the Mortar tower. I'm down for another new tower here. Long range, it says, and I imagine it's going to do AoE damage, so let's put it here. Oh, huge range. 10 RPM, and for comparison, this is 20 RPM. So the Mortar tower shoots at the same rate as the Shredder tower does. Give me there's a lot of armor enemies, so I'm just gonna fire up a bunch of armor damage on this bad boy. Is it home in? Huh. Okay, so it actually leads it sees the enemy, sees where they are, and it leads them. See? That's pretty cool. Oh, and these guys are definitely getting some sort of speed boost on them. Okay. I actually think that the double pathing is a little easier to manage than the single pathing. The single pathing level seems a lot harder. I assumed it was going to be easier. It feels like the game is definitely a lot easier in this difficulty. We're gonna die here pretty soon. This game is also pretty challenging, I feel. Maybe should have expanded over here, but more time is fine. These ballistas that I have at the start, which were crucial then, have kind of fallen off. And I wouldn't be surprised if the actual strategy to win is to just like sell these off and get better cars once you get the unlock for them. Like, I could probably sell all of these and get another Mortar tower. My general philosophy right now is just let the Mortar tower soften everything up and then the ballista finish it off as they get closer. But maybe that's not necessarily what you want to do, right? It's hard to say. I'm no expert. I do enjoy and play a lot of strategy games, but I would not consider myself a professional. Except for in the game that I played last week, Alina, where I did open up by saying I am a professional, yes. Anyway, I'm going to sell one of these ballista for another Mortar tower. I'm just going to put it somewhere where it gets massive range and expand so that it can hit anyone, basically. Or not. Okay, there it goes. It took it a second to target, and it just missed. Oh man. There you go. No, this tower is actually just missing. This one? The shot's gonna hit. Did you see how far out of his range that was, too? See, this thing is like a fucking house. This sent in my greatest foe. Just a log cabin coming to get my ass. There's a lot of armor. It feels like I've only really dealt with armor so far. Maybe down the line, more enemies with different types. More shield-based enemies come out, but I haven't seen any shields so far. Down for this ballista's gain 5% slow. And here's what I'm thinking. I could put a ballista like at the entrance basically, and I could make it target like fastest enemy, and that should make it change. Interestingly, even though there's all of these target priority options, I keep finding myself not having what I want. Right? Because I don't really want it to be firing at the first target. I want it to be firing at like the last target. Okay, what happens when I have myself in this? Oh, there's a little monster spawner. Interesting. The 5% slow, understandably not that noticeable. Understandably so. I guess I've reached the end of the road here, which means that there would only be one direction for me to expand now. The sound effect of that buzzsaw, maybe not my favorite, but watching it just fire off and hit all of those enemies, that's good shit. My death may be here. Oh, no, he's dead. Hold. I thought I was done for, but perhaps there's still hope. I've got these armor busters, basically. These mortars are crushing the armor. I should probably have done this sooner. It's a little late even, but I'm gonna turn the sound effects down just a touch. My bad for not doing that sooner. That's definitely a more, maybe a little too low, whatever. Cool. And now I assume they're just gonna keep coming from here. Yeah. One thing that I've noticed as well, and perhaps this is not the case, but it feels like a few other traditional tower defense things that are missing are... it feels like there should be a way to start waves early, but this game doesn't really feel like that's an issue because it is difficult regardless. Like, if I had the option to start waves early, I would not be doing it because I would just be losing. But it still feels like it's something that should be there. And I had something else I was going to mention there, but I forgot it because I was thinking about the fact that I would get blasted if I started these waves early. Definitely would get obliterated. Yeah, now that it feels like even my first few runs, because I didn't get good tower options early, perhaps I was a little doomed. But I'm sure that's not correct. I tend to not like to blame it on randomness, but I like to point out when games can feel like you're getting screwed over by RNG, even if it's not the case. Definitely gonna put another shredder down. Probably here, but I want to save my money because we're about to get a new unlock. I want to see what it is. I'm not about to. Oh, it's probably at the end of the wave. Gotcha. I'll put this here because it can hit either lane, and the shredder really only needs to touch one of the lanes. Right, or it only needs to touch it in one place, and then it practice. Ah, no. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. It seems strange that there's no bosses. I was incorrect. Here's a boss. Oogie. Do I have any chance of killing Oogie? His health bar is not moving. I don't want to alarm you, but my man's health bar is not moving. He's got 508 bleed. Oogie smash. Dude, how much health does he have? I guess 935 bleed is not that much. Because, like, Oogie smash is about to happen. Alright, I'm dead as hell. How much health does this guy have? Or rather, better question, how fast does that stuff take? Game over. There you go. Double defense is pretty cool, and triple defense I assume is the same way. And so you can see, it looks to me like a lot of the focus of this game is on all of the different tower types, which is cool. Definitely like having a lot of different options here. Even just one or two towers felt cool. So imagine that, but you get to go super long and you have like 10 different tower types, right? So yeah. That's Rogue Tower. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I think it was very much worth it for me to do another run. I think that second run was much more representative of what the game actually is. This game, so at the end of this, I want to tell you, do I recommend this? I don't think I told you at the start, but this game is $15. I think that it's worth it, yeah. It has a lot of little things, like the weird scaling on the UI and the fact that it's a little difficult to work with, but I was definitely having some fun in there once I started getting into it. It's a good time for sure. I I think that this is also a game I would be extremely surprised if the really minor things that I brought up here, like not really minor, like major problems, but they shouldn't be hard to fix problems. I'd be surprised if it doesn't get fixed, right? So in the worst case, just keep an eye on it, see if they make those changes. Mainly, see if they let you save runs, see if they let you increase the speed of like a wave, like increase speed, you know, game speed. That's what I'm looking for. Things like that. Keep an eye out. But yeah, I think this game is worth at least taking a look at. Maybe put it on your wish list and see how it looks in the future, right? Maybe. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave me a like. Sorry, subscribe if you want to see more. I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.